So I think the greatest teacher I've ever had in my life was actually dying. I was pronounced clinically dead 4 times. I was 4 years old in actual fact. The beauty about dying, and a lot of people go, 4, oh, blah, 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 blah. Man, those people that do that, I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. How can you proclaim to come out with some sort of statement, yeah, on an experience that you've never experienced?
Right.
Yeah? Have you ever jumped on a plane and gone somewhere else? Or have you just sat there and listened to someone else's story? Now that's small. That's minor. Dying and coming back is something different. Yeah. So for me, I have a story to tell in relation to it. So it gives me a completely different outlook. What had happened was I was staying at my sister's house in a place called Manurewa, which is in Auckland, New Zealand, Aotearoa. And all of a sudden I just wanted to go home to my parents' place. So I went home, went to the shop that we lived at, and I remember seeing my mum and saying to her, I just wanted to go to bed. You know, like, it's quite weird for a 4 or 5 year old to say, I just want to go to bed. And so that's what I did. Next thing I remember was, that was really sad, it does sound quite weird, but a voice in my head telling me to wake up. You need help. So I woke up. Well, I was forced to wake up. So what had happened was I bolted upright in bed, threw up all this blood that I'd
Swallowed your lungs.
Yeah. And as I threw it up, I took another breath and took maybe a quarter or half of it back, and then dropped. And so what I remember is bolting upright, dropping, and then waking up in my parents' room. Well, not waking up, sort of walking in, sort of sitting on the bed. Now, you know, bear in mind I'm 4, so I understand the process of walking, the process of sitting. So that's what I did, that was my action. And so I sat there on the bed. Dad on the right hand side, my stepfather, and Mum on the left. And I remember trying to talk and nothing came out. No voice, which sort of freaks you out, basically. And then the action of going to Galapagos for some reason. That action is me in the now realising that I couldn't talk. So it was a way of trying to figure out what's going on. But there was nothing there, there was no sensation that I'd made any contact. So I looked, and my mum, who was on the left hand side, turned around to my dad and says, hey, you know, what's going on? Can you hear that? And I'm thinking, I hear what? I'm here, so, but I'm confused because I'm not talking, so, you know, what's going on? And then Mum says, I'm going to go check. So she gets up and she leaves the room, and I still remember sitting on the bed thinking, oh, well, that's okay because Dad's here. And then Dad's standing up. So he pulls the blankets off and he gets up and he walks sort of halfway down the bed, and I go to myself, are you okay? Dad's walking down the bed, he's seen me, everything's cool, relax. He'll figure out why I'm not talking, so relax. You know. So I relaxed, and he walked right past me.
Your body was still in the bed, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I gave up. And I black out. Nothing but blackness. I was in this nothingness. You know, so it was totally black. no conscious thought, just a blackness. And then all of a sudden, out of nothing, I became, what's the best way to describe it? A watcher or observer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I saw, now I'm going to speak to you like a 4-year-old because
That's how you see it.
well, I don't have any qualifications.
Okay.
Yeah, so so as an observer, I watched creation creating, and it was this huge for a 4-year-old. It was like a ball, so that would be a sphere. It was transparent, almost like not like a shell, but very like when you get a bit of detergent and you blow a bubble.
Bubbles. Mm-hmm.
It was like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But within the bubble were other little bubbles,
Okay.
different colours, moving inside this thing, container. It's quite difficult. All I do is step back into the time.
Right.
So anyway, and they're housed within this thing, and they're moving, and they don't always collide. It moves, and every now and then it passes through, and they don't touch each other. But every now and then, one colour meets this other colour. That's the best way I can describe it, and collides, and something else is created, and gets spat out of this thing. This, I don't know.
Sphere.
The sphere. Yeah. So I witness all this, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I don't know what this is. Then I remember, all of a sudden that leaves me, and it must be a dimensional thing, or a dimensional plane, possibly. But I sort of come back to Earth, and I see my people, I was going to say family, people carrying a body on a stretcher down the stairs, because we had a 2-story shop, and they were carrying this body down the stairs, and I didn't recognise the body because I was present. Does that make sense?
You didn't recognize your own body.
No. Because I was present. Because I was present. It's a consciousness thing.
So how could it be you? Because you're present.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
How could it be me? Because
Okay.
I'm present.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not me. So therefore, that's not my family.
Right.
So I don't recognise the body. So automatically, I think, oh, well, they're carrying this thing, or whatever it is, or whoever it is. So I run to my perception in my mind as my window, and I look out the window, and they put this body in an ambulance, and it disappears. Next thing you know, I can't give you a time frame. I woke up in hospital. That's my story. Then I spoke to my mum many years later, and she said, yep, I'd thrown up, drowned. They called a doctor, an intern. He came in with enough morphine to kill a horse. So when you drown, you can't breathe. When you pump morphine into a 4-year-old that's enough to kill a horse, you certainly ain't going to breathe. You ain't coming back. So I was put on a life support. This is the story I was told. I was put on a life support system for 7 days.
Whoa.
On the 7th day, they told my parents to contact all family to come in, because this is 69, 70. Yeah, this is not affordable. They'll basically come out a vegetable at most. But then, technology was unlimited, so anyway. So I came back, and Mum, basically she just said never to talk about it to any people, anyone, ever. That society would didn't understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So she felt this need to sort of squash it and try and get me to not think about it. But anyway, it was something I couldn't put down. So it was, it's made me who I am today, basically. Yeah. So that's that. That's my mum's story. Another side story to that was 20 years after I died. I finally picked up the courage to talk to my sister about an event. Yeah. And I said to her, Erin, that's my sister, could you help me with a time scale in my life? I only have the middle piece. I don't know the beginning, and I don't know what the end result was. And she went, oh yeah, I'll do my best. And I said, oh yeah, okay. I said to her, we were sitting, you had a car, an English Ford Anglia, like the one they've got on Harry Potter, you know, when it flies.
Oh, the flying car?
Yeah, it was like that. And it had a little, I call it diff, it had a hump in the middle of the car, and the diff ran sort of through it. Anyway, I had pulled myself up, and she was crying, and I'd asked her why she was crying, and I knew that her and her husband weren't fighting because she wasn't looking at him, and they weren't talking, but yet she was bawling her eyes out. So I said to her, what's going on? And she said, sit back in your seat, it's too dangerous. And that's what I approached her with. I said, so can you fill in the beginning? And can you give me the end? And she went, that's not possible. What do you mean? She said, yes, I was crying, and yes, my husband was driving like a maniac. Well, not maniac, he was driving fast. I had concerns about his driving. And she said, yep, that all happened. And I said, oh, yep. And she goes, the person in the back of the car
Was that you?
was not me.
Yeah.
It was my brother.
Okay.
So that freaked me out. You know, and I thought, oh, fuck, I'm losing the plot. You know, I mean, society and everything I've ever learned, ever gone to school, and yeah, I could distance myself from some of the stuff I was learning, but that was too much. So, anyway, nothing can be too much. We have to find a way to deal with it. So I dealt with it the best I could.